Hi, I'm Meekster, and my favorite kind of skating and pool. It's not so much the maneuvers, but the hardest spots to hit the pool is what I'm pretty much into, so check it out. I just turned 44 last month and started skating when I was 10. That was a good time. The 80s were good, 70s. Those are my favorite years, especially the 70s. That was my favorite time for skateboarding because there was no video, there's no skateboarding on TV. Like, you could look at the magazines and you'd just be like, well, I think they do it like this.
First time I ran into Meek's probably SoCal skate park, the one that was built in the mid to late 70s here in Santa Cruz. Meekster was just a solid dude, man. He had this style where he didn't really fall. This style where obviously there was a surf influence of style going on too. And you know, Meekster was always the mature, slightly older, respected one of the group.
I always remember Keith because he had that certain distinct style. He was like the first guy I ever saw slash, you know, like do slash grinds and stuff. You know, you'd always see the ads with Keith and he had like bleach blonde hair, and that was sort of cool because, you know, I was just getting into punk rock and I'd see this dude like slashing a grind, and I thought that was really cool. All the way through the 80s they had just a kick-ass team.
To me, being a vet is all about paying your dues and putting the time in, feeling the pain of decades and still coming back and doing it.
Wanna get high. Some of us lost our mind, and some of us had to die. Some of us had to die. White men doing time. Some of us had to die. White men doing time. Some of us like to ride. Some of us wanna get high. Some of us lost our mind, and some of us had to die. Some of us had to die. White men doing time. Some of us had to die. Probably was doing time.
You found me. It's hard to find me because I'm so into art. Now go away. I'm busy thinking.
Behold, I am Jesus Christ, and I will not be coming back for a second coming. Due to national security and the Patriot Act, please listen to my words. My favorite ice cream is banana fella. If this is a problem, you can go and fuck yourself, dog fashion, or allow chat to rest upon your chest as I smite you down. Alert. George Bush will be your father. All birth will be C-section. You will have only diarrhea. I love you very much. See you at the beach.
It's the best music. It's beautiful.
Jason, I don't know, he's from another planet. I love the guy. But he's always a trip, and he's always nice, and he's always good to talk to.
I don't know, modern day Jay Adams of the 80s. You know, that says everything. Ripper, crazy.
A lot of just raw skating. Like I don't know how to put it, but...
A good friend and one of the more likable skater guys that I've come across in the last 37 years.
I met him in SoCal, was in my office with his grandparents. His grandparents came in to check us out. I was checking him out.
You know, I'd show up at contests and stuff, and there he was. He was an all-around skater, you know. He skated vert and street, you know. It didn't seem like he took street too serious, but he was pretty good at it, and he had a name, and his vert riding carried over into the street.
He brought like a heavier personality. I think a lot of the guys were pretty quirky or whatever you want to call it. I think Jason Jesse was pretty raw, but it was excellent.
One of the reasons why I really wanted to be on Santa Cruz is because of Jason Jesse.
Skating with him in the 80s, he was just incredible, you know, doing gnarly stuff.
Frontside ollie, straight up, straight down. Like a cholo cowboy dude.
Jason was like the first guy that just brought in straight up gnarly vert skating, where it looks like the guy's just going to eat shit. He hangs on and pulls it off, and he's brought in all that stuff to fakie. There was a few tricks to fakie that people did, but
you couldn't even comprehend back then, like a mayday, a pivot to fakie. That was like some serious stuff because no one had ever seen it before.
Or saw like the most epic invert to fakie.
The giant airs to fakie, you know.
You're like, how the hell did he do that without knocking his teeth out?
That was like sort of unheard of at the time.
He's a real powerful guy.
By 1990, vert skating it sort of took a shit. No one had ramps. It wasn't like it is now where there was parks everywhere. And there was only a certain selected number of dudes that were lucky enough to make it through that transition. And Jason was, just because of his style and how he did the stuff.
I just dug the way he skated. He was just burly. And then just hanging out with him, his personality and stuff.
Jason traveling. Jason would never have a bag. And it always baffled me when we're traveling. It's like, fuck, where's your suitcase? You're going on a 2-week trip to Europe and you have nothing except, you know, just this little bag. And what he would do is stash his clothes in everybody else's bag and have them carry for him, his boards and stuff. And then he'd borrow them and put his dirty clothes back in. Great move.
What a first impression that left, you know. I was like, this kid's funny.
We went to skate camp, Woodward, for 2 weeks. Me and Jason were like the guest pros. And for 2 weeks I did demos by myself. He was like, where's Jason? I saw him at lunch. He's gone now.
That was before the tattoos and guns, and even the funner side of Jason was exposed.
He's gone through his ups and downs. Everybody has. It's just life.
I'm happy.
Like clockwork eyes, lit up, 20 on 1, breaking heads, don't sound like much fun. It's not your only way. I'm getting kicked by breaking heads. You know, you can't do the thing of time. Gotta rip it up, gotta rip you up. You gotta rip it up, gotta rip it up, gotta rip it up. Had enough of violence, just to kill boredom makes no sense. We're not the background for your stupid fights. Get
Eric Dressen, 39 years old, been skating well over 30 years, born in Los Angeles, live in Los Angeles. Growing up, I looked up to Jay Adams and Tony Alva and Steve Olson and all these dudes. They were like my heroes, and when I finally got to meet these dudes, like I just wanted to hear their voices, because like all I saw was them on the magazines. Meeting them, they're so cool. Like that meant so much to me, because these are my heroes.
So anyway, about Eric Dressen is like, Eric Dressen has been around longer than most, right? Obviously, he's been killing it ever since he was 8. So if you do the math, he's been killing it for 35 years. How many other people can say they've fucking ever done that?
Skating came back 85, 86. Eric D came back out of the woodwork. Then, I mentioned to guys, who is this dude? Right away, people said, no, that's Eric D. He used to be a pro when he was 12, and he was a part of the skate scene in the 70s. I was like, wow, for a young guy, he's in it fast.
Eric was always associated with like speed and style. If you ever saw a picture of Eric, it was always really stylish, and he always looked like he was going really fast. And then when you saw him skate in person, you realized he really was going as fast as it looked in the photo, which probably goes back to like the whole Dogtown thing with everyone wanting to have style. Eric always looked good doing it.
It would be so rad to watch the videos. We got videos when I was a kid. That was our link to seeing real pros skate. But seeing Eric skate in the contest, Eric was always aggro and fast and just dominating. Always dominating.
It's like the last kind of generation of real Venice, amazing street skaters.
He was sort of that edgy, hard Venice still.
You could tell he was a local, that's for sure.
Probably like around 89. I was riding for Dogtown, and Santa Cruz was trying to steal me. And I went up and had a couple meetings. They had a crazy scene there. Gavin O'Brien was the team manager. How he embraced Santa Cruz like the old days, like Steve Olson and Dwayne Peters and Salva. That whole punk rock Santa Cruz era just really inspired me to get on the team. That was like the best time of my life, like just showing up demos, and it was just ripping.
Eric shows up, breaking the speed limit, 150 miles an hour, cracking ollies over regular-sized benches, like you were the shit if you could ollie, like about 3 boards high. Like that type of shit got you laid back then. Being able to see that, it was a push and a strive for the kids to better themselves.
That was when I really felt like a true professional skateboarder. Boards were doing good. We're coming out with new stuff like Everslicks. It was just a cool time. It's about 93, I think. Skateboarding just changes out with the old and with the new. It was a pretty rough time in my life. At the same time, I blew up my knee, so there I was just sitting there, screwed. I guess it was 2004. Me and Bart were up in Santa Cruz filming Jason Jesse for the Skinned Alive video, and we ended up stopping by this gallery that had the 30 fucking years show with all the Santa Cruz graphics up on the wall. And I was just walking around looking at this. These graphics are insane. These graphics have longevity. It's such a bitchin' era. It just triggered all these memories and stuff, and it's like, whoa, I was really a part of something. And then after that, after looking at all this stuff, I went across the street to Bill's Wheel Skate Shop, and they just have like their whole walls, like the whole history of Santa Cruz, all their old boards and stuff. And I was just like starting getting like homesick for the old team, and pull out, and then there's a street that Santa Cruz is on. I was like, man, I want my old job back. Right about that time, they were doing the reissues, and we were at trade show, and they asked me if they could reissue my board, and I was like, I was so stoked to be included in on the deal. Then it got me thinking. I was like, I just want to be back on Santa Cruz. So I made a phone call, and all the reissue stuff kicking ass. All that stuff's selling out. Everyone digs it. I was just thinking the graphics I could have, and after about a week later, they called me back. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, by the way, we talked to Tom. Tom's down. Let's do like a little division. That's the thing, like getting back on Santa Cruz, and then me and Tom skating together for the first time. We were on Brian Lottie's movie, First and Hope. He brought Tom down. We had to film at Jailhouse downtown LA, and we drove up. Just got out of the car, he hit the bank, I hit the bank. It was just that old feeling, like, was back. Like, me and him just have a chemistry together, like, when we're skating together. It just, man, just feed on that. It's like old days. And I was like, man, this is what I started off to do. So that's the thing I try to do in my skateboarding, is just be an ambassador. You know, when you show up.
My name's Tom Knox. I'm 35. I started skating in 1983. I got sponsored by Santa Cruz in 1987 when I was 16. And I turned pro in 1989 when I just turned 18. I've been skating longer than most skaters have been alive now. You know, there's guys that have way more credentials than me even. In my eyes, the guys I looked up to are older than me, so I still feel young. I mean, when I grew up, there was no street skating, so I was riding just for like a local guy here that was making boards and a local shop. We had a vert ramp here in Visalia at the YMCA who had started doing skate camps in 1986. They had built a 44-foot wide vert ramp with like, you know, multiple levels and channels. And at the time when they built it in 1987, it was like the best ramp in the state. And there was guys coming from everywhere, like every week to ride. You know, Tony Hawk and all Lance Mountain, Stevie. I'd go there every day and ride, and that's when Jason Jesse and Steve Clare were coming and riding a lot. And Jason was riding for Santa Cruz. He was still am then, and I would ride with Jason a lot. Just got to be friends with Jason. Then that summer of '87, I was working at a skate camp in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly. Jason was one of the visiting pros, and he came there with Steve Keenan. This is like '87 was the time when street skating was just coming around, and
we were skating and we met this kid named Tom Knox, and like, oh, this is Tom Knox, you know, he's 15 years old or something. And then all of a sudden he ollie, kickflip, wall rides on the wall, and you know, nobody'd seen that.
I did a blunt disaster, like on the deck, you know, on the lip, and I remember I was like skating in a practice heat with Tony Hawk, and he's like, whoa, what was that? I'd never seen that before. I was like, holy shit, I did a trick that Tony Hawk hadn't seen before, you know?
I was the first person to feebles and Smiths, ollie to Smiths, tail slides, lip slides, and wall rides. Like, gnarly street skater. The way he skated like a shopping mall, I saw this whole new realm of possibility, you know. One of the guys next to Eric and Mark Gonzalez, they gave me the idea of I could be a street skater.
It was Tom Knox at YMCA skate camp when he was in the class. It's just that he skated so freaking gnarly that I almost couldn't teach the class because this kid who came in at 15, 16 just skated so much better than me that most of the time I just sat on the bench and would watch him. I just started bumping into him as he got better as an am, and then he turned pro and smoked me.
And he's just a real strong skater. And I've always liked those type of skaters because they're cool to watch.
Right when I got on Santa Cruz, they flew me up there before we were going on a trip, and like I got to see like rough edit of Speed Freaks. And I saw Tom's part. From what I saw him skating, he was just so consistent. He was like one of the raddest skaters I've ever seen.
Like, I remember Tony Roberts just showed up. You know, he called me, hey, I'm going to be in town filming for, you know, the Speedwheels video, and I'm going to be in at your house on this date. You know, so he shows up at my house. It's like July or June, middle of summer, you know, 100 degrees. He shows up at my house like 10 in the morning, and we go out and we film for about 4 or 5 hours, and that was it. And then he moved on to the next dude he was filming. What I filmed there was like what I would do on a daily basis. That's how it was, you know. You didn't get a year to film your video part, you know, and think about the 20 tricks you want to have in it. I remember that day it was fucking really hot, and we just busted it out. Risk It, they took a little bit longer. Actually, with Risk It, I had like 2 different film sessions with Tony. Back in those days, you know, people would see your video, and then you would go on a tour in the summer, and you'd go do, you know, 45 demos. And when you went to demos, the kids expected to see you skate like you do in the video, which is cool because you pretty much could, you know. But now, you know, these guys, they film a video part and they're fucking gnarly because the shit they're doing is just out of control, crazy. But you don't just go out and just do triple kinks on a daily basis for fun. You know, there's gonna be like motivation behind their kind of sequence of video. You don't just do it for fun unless you're a crazy motherfucker.
Super rad guy, really fun to skate with. I was super stoked because I grew up being into him, and all my friends were into him, so when I met him I was like really stoked. He was just so mellow, down to earth, and slick back, looking really rocker style.
I'm more into just like focusing on having fun, you know, because for a while there it got to be like just not fun, you know, when there's just all this stress and when it's like your livelihood, you know. And
he's a great inspiration to life and to skateboarding and why there is room and need for a Vets division.
If it wasn't for Tom, I would not be talking to you guys right now.
Yeah, the white girl's coming.
Rock and roll, motherfucker.
First time, because they were really good skaters, we built a team off that. You know, we wanted to get really good, strong guys, and that's why we did the first time. Second time, I had no choice. I mean, they just, fuck, what do you do? You know, they're here. So you just add them. You know, and then Jeff, it was their idea too. It was Tom and Eric's idea to do this thing, and just let it go. You know, let them do it. That's what it's for, is to have fun. Let them take it where they want to take it. They deserve it.
Okay, this is the skateboard demo unit. No casualties, no friendly fire, just dog shit. You get the slow motion that, watch my face, my tits move. And then,
It was kind of classic that Eric ended up skating for Santa Cruz, and Tom did too. There were these players, even though it was big, there were enough like major players that you could remember like the whole identity with that team and this team, and like you'd root almost like, oh, they got that person like.
And once I got the full like sponsorship from Santa Cruz, they paid for everything, you know. But you know, most of the time I'd end up like taking a Greyhound to San Jose to like Gavin's house or something, and then you know we'd team travel from there.
To make a, well, in this day and age, I don't know, making a career, I guess you got to kind of like go outside the box of hardcore skateboarding, you know what I mean? If you ask me, Channel 32, ESPN, I'll show you that. But like to break a career, I don't know, drugs, maybe, you know, something, maybe just losing focus, losing touch of what you really fell in skateboarding for, you know, which was just the pure love of it. I mean, death maybe? I don't know.
He's always like the next level, you know, like already he's on Bobby G and Bobby G.